Alright guys, so the last video, there's a lot of mistakes in that video because I was using the wrong tax code for most of the transactions there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you all the transactions and in order, and I'll show you the balances. So I want you guys to turn to page 155. So right now, I hope you guys watched the first hour of the previous video, and that shows you how to set up all the accounts and the vendor list and all that stuff. So yeah, so now we're on page 155. We're on the first transaction, which is on January 2nd, 2006. So cash purchase invoice, once you go to write checks. And then you see this bank account. If it's on, wait, sorry, one sec. Let me go back. So let me go back to the first transaction I entered. So the first transaction, you have to make sure it's on bank checking. Click on that. And see where it says print later? I want you to click it off. Once you click it off, you can enter the check number, which is over here. So I want you to put the check number as 188. Okay. Enter the date. Make sure the date's right. So it should be January 2, 2006. And then you want to select the vendor. It should be Roof Over Properties Inc. So click on that. Type in the source document number. It's ROP0601. And so if you read the transaction, it says that we paid 1,800 plus GST for office rent for 6 months. So we know that it's for 6 months, so it's prepaid rent because it's for the next 6 months. So you want to click on the account prepaid rent. So you need to create this account. So you type in prepaid rent, hit tab, and create a new account. And it should be under the category other current assets. So when you add the account, make sure it's under other current assets. The tax code, you want to put only G for GST. And the amount is 1,800. So you want to put rent for 6 months, and your total should be 1,890. So if you have that, you're good. Now you can hit save and new, and you'll be taken to the next transaction. So this is the second transaction, okay? So it's dated January the 10th, 2006. So you want to make sure the date's right. Make sure it's on bank checking at the top, which it is. Now you want to pay to the order of this person named Guelph Tribune. So make sure you select this vendor. So click on it. Put the source document number here. That's good. And so we're actually paying 1,500 plus GST for weekly advertising, and it's for advertising for the next 5 months. So we know it's prepaid advertising, so you have to create a new account. So type in prepaid advertising and hit tab and put it under other current assets. Okay? So you want to add this account, and the tax code should be G because it's on GST only. The amount's 1,500, and you want to put the thing in the memo field over here. You want to put the description. So yep, for weekly advertising, and the total for this should be 1,575. Make sure the date's correct, and the check number should have automatically been inputted. The check number for this is 189. So because I put the previous check number properly, the next one should automatically go in sequential order. So that's good. So I want you to hit save and new. So hit save and new, and you should be over here now on the third transaction on page 155. So it says from Staples, we paid 160 for printing, registration, and sponsorship pledges. So we know you wanna make sure it's on bank checking again. It should already be on bank checking at this point, so you don't have to worry about that. It should be check number 190, which should automatically say 190. Want to change the date? Make sure it's January 15th, 2006. Want to put the source document number? It's BC. Oh shit! This has the wrong source document number. Whoops. Let me change this. So it's S9976. So yeah, make sure it's the right source document number. Put that in. And okay, so for this, it's gonna go under printing and copying expense, because it fully says over here, it says for printing, registration, and sponsorship pledges form. So it's an expense. You can't. There's no asset for that. There's no asset for that classification of printing, so it's gonna go under expense, and should be 160 plus GST and PST, which basically means HST. In the previous video, I was using standard, which was incorrect because standard was some different kind of tax. So it's actually HST for Ontario. So I want you to pick that. And you want to put the memo here for printing, registration, and sponsorship pledge forms for participants and sponsors. You want to put something like that to describe the transaction. And then you want to make sure your total is $180.80, which we have. And I want you to hit, just give me a second, get a pen. So I want you to hit save and new. Okay, so hit save and new. Once you hit save and new, you should be taken to the next transaction. So now we're on the fourth transaction on page 155. So now we have a cash purchase, and we're buying something from Bell Canada. So I want you to select Bell Canada as your vendor. Check number should be 191. Automatically, it should already be there. We want to change the date now to January the 20th. So click on January 20th. Type the source document number, which should be BC10116. Type that in. So we know that we're paying Bell Canada for the for 1 month's worth of telephone service. So it's telephone expense. So go here, click on telephone expense. Use the tax code HST because we're paying $50 plus GST and PST, which basically means we choose HST. Your total should be 56.50, which you have here. So once you're done with that, put a check mark beside your paper and click save and close. So once you hit save and close, you should be at the home navigator. And then, so we're at memo number 1 now. So this is pay charity surplus. So we write a check again. So let me just go back. So let me just find the next transaction. So yeah, we should be over here. So they want us to add this account name charity Spiridius. I want you guys to quick add. Use quick add and choose other type of payee. So right when you click quick add, you should be given a screen that says vendor and all that stuff. You want to click on the very last dot, the one that says other. So yeah, once you click that, make sure the date's correct. So the date for this transaction is January the 28th, 2006. So make sure the date's correct. It should automatically be check number 192. Put memo number 1 in the memo field. And you're going to have to choose other. Okay. And you want to select wage contract expense at the very bottom. So make sure it's an expense and the account is called wage contract expense. It's tax exempt. There's no tax. So you can either leave it blank or put tax exempt. And the amount is $2,000 for the monthly contract wages. So in the memo field, I just put paid monthly contract wages. So you should have all of this. Make sure the date's correct. And you should have the total of $2,000 with no tax. So I want you to hit save and close once you're done with that. So yep, I'll go ahead and do that. So now we're on the second last transaction on page 155. So for this one, it says funds raised, form number 1. So for this, you got to create a sales receipt. So click on this. Let me just go find mine. So at the very first sales receipt. Okay, so when you create sales receipt, it should be here. So for customer job, this one will be blank when you open it. So I want you to click on runners, but you see where it says deposit to? For you, in the beginning, it'll be undeposited funds. I want you to change it from undeposited funds and click on checking, okay? So go ahead and click on checking. And then for the item, I want you to select. So we see that the first item is singles registration. So click on this, click on single registration. type in the description that I have here or whatever you prefer, and click on team registration for the second account. And you see where it says quantity. If you read the question, it says 16 single registration at $25. Because we already set up our item list, we know that for each item it costs $25. So we just have to input the quantity here. If we put 16 here for single registration, and if you see for team registrations, we have a quantity of 11. So you want to put 11 here, and it should automatically multiply. So the amount should be 400, and the amount here should be 880. This one should automatically be put in. It should automatically be put in as tax exempt, and your total should be 1,280. Your payment method, you want to click on cash because we don't have any checks. Well, we do have checks, but we're not given the check numbers. So just select cash. Now I want you to add this customer list. So type in "thank you for your business, asked to be placed in our mailing list." So type this in and hit tab, and you should add this customer message. Okay. And once you're done with that, hit save and close. Okay. So hit save and close. Okay, I put a check mark beside that transaction. So now we're on the last transaction on page 155. Okay. So now it says memo number 2, pay Charity Spirius. So click on write check. So I'm just going to go back and find that transaction. Sorry, one sec. 28. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so now it's so now we're gonna put the last transaction on page 155. So I want you to click write a check. Should be here. You should already have bank checking at the top. The check number should be 193 automatically. It should be inputted. You don't really have to touch this. I want you to click on the last person in the list, which is Charity Spirius. Should be under the category other name. Okay, so it's not really a vendor. So when we created this account, we clicked other. So it says other name. Click on that. Put the memo. So it should be memo number 2. Put wage contract expense as your account. It should be at the very bottom. Put E as a tax code or leave it blank. Don't put any of the other tax codes. Put 2000. Put this in your memo field. Okay. Your total should be 2000. Make sure you change the date to February 28. Once you're good, once you have everything there, I want you to save and close. Put a check mark beside. So hit save and close and put a check mark beside that transaction. So I want you to turn the page to page 156 now. Okay, so once you hit save and close, you should be at the home navigator like this. Okay. So now we're on the top. We're on page 156 now. We're at the very top. So it says funds raised from form number 2. So create sales receipt. Click on that. So we should be at the second one now. So see here it says sale number 2. It basically matches with the form number 2. So basically we're using the form number as our sale number. So that's fine. So customer. So we know if you read the transaction, it says cash and checks received for early registration from runners. So we know that for a customer job, we have to pick runners. Click on it. So we have 28 single registrations at $25. So for here, click single registration. Type this in the description. For quantity, put 28. So 28 multiplied by 25 should give you 700. If you just only have to input the quantity, it should automatically put these fields in. And then for team registration, the second one we put team registration. Click on it. Type this in the description field. For quantity, you want to put 8. So it's 8 team registrations at $80 each. So that totals for $2,640. Our total for this one should be 1,340, which we have here. I want you to make sure the date's correct. So you want to put March 15th, 2006. Okay, and then put a thank you message. Thank you for your business. Asked to be placed on our mailing list. Click on that. And once you're done with that, hit save and close. So hit save and close. I'm just going to click X here because I already saved it. So now we're on the second transaction on page 156. It's a cash purchase, so we're going to write a check. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find this. Okay, so now we're at March 20th, okay? So it's a bill for Bell Canada. It's for telephone service for 2 months. So you want to click the vendor, Bell Canada. Want to change the date, make sure it's on March 20th, 2006. Put the source document number here. It should be BC17910. You type that in. For your account, put telephone expense. It has a tax code of HST. So click on that. The amount should be $90 plus HST. So you want to put 90 in the amount field. Never ever put the amount with tax. It's always without tax. And then the tax code will multiply this to get you the total amount. So the total should be 101.70, which we have. Make sure you type in something in the memo field, something close to this or exactly like this. So once you have everything here, the check number should also be 194. Just double check that you have the correct check number. If you don't have the check number, that means you did something wrong. So once you got this in, I want you to save and new. Hit save and new, click on it, and you should be in this new check. Okay, and then so we're at memo number 3 now on page 156. So we're paying our monthly contract wages again. So I want you to click Charity Spiridius, change the date now to March 31st. So click on March 31st, 2006. In the memo field, I want you to type in memo number 3. I want you to select the account. It's wage contract expense. It's has no tax, so either leave it blank or click on tax exempt. And it's for $2,000. And type something in the memo field, something to this effect. Okay, and then once you have everything there, I want you to hit save and close. So hit save and close. So now you should be in the home navigator. So now we're doing the 4th transaction on page 156. So right now it's fund raised, form number 3. So it's oh crap, sorry, wrong one. You have to click create sales receipt. So click on create sales receipt. Okay. So once you do that, you should be at a blank sales receipt. And let me just get to the proper. So yeah, once you're here, everything should be blank. Like mine's is already filled out. So I already did everything. So I just want to show you what I did. So from here, you want to click on runners. So make sure you select runners as customer job. Make sure it's deposit to bank checking. This should already be on bank checking if you did the previous one as bank checking. So yep, and then you want to change the date to April 6, 2006. So you just click on the date. For the first one, you want to input single registration. Put in the description over here. So it says the quantity for single registration was 38 at $25 each. So the total amount should be $950. It should be tax exempt. For team registration for the second one you want to select team registration. Okay, so you click on team registration, type in something in the description field, something close to this. So we have 16 team registrations at $80 each for a total of $1,280. It's tax exempt, so make sure that's there. And for the customer message, I want you to click on thank you for your business, ask to be placed on our mailing list. So click on that. The total should be $2,230, which we have, and it's deposit to bank checking. The date's correct. And you should have sale number 3 over here. So I hope you have that. If you don't, then you did something wrong. So I want you to hit save and close. Hit save and close. And now you should be in the home navigator. Okay. So now let's do the next transaction. Cash purchase invoice WA 4200. So we know it's a cash purchase. We go to write a check. So give me a sec. So you should be over here, but you should have a blank check, not like mine. Mine's already filled out. So we have to add this person, I think. So wait, where ads? Actually, no, we don't. So yeah, I want you to go on vendors and click on where ads. Click on where ads. Change the date. So it's April 14th now. No, wait, sorry, is it? Wait, yeah. So it is April 14th. I put the wrong date here, so I'm going to change it real quick. So, yep. So it's April 14th. Actually, no, one sec. Let me revert this. I think this is the wrong one. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, we're over here. Okay, so it's April 14th. I was at the wrong check, so I just noticed that now. So yeah, it should be April 14th. Make sure it's on bank checking. Click on okay, so for the vendor, you should have a vendor named Where Ads. If you don't, then you have to quick add it. So click on Where Ads. Change the date to April the 14th, okay? Click on that. And for this one, you should have the memo WA4200. You shouldn't have correction over there because I made a correction when I was doing my thing, so I just put it there. So really, you should only have this, just the reference number. Okay, so you have that, and then for account, so from Where Ads, we know that we're buying T-shirts for participants and all that. So make sure you type in T-shirts in caps. It has HST for tax. The amount we paid was 2,500 plus HST, and on the memo field, you want to put in for T-shirts and for T-shirts for participants, volunteers, and fundraising. So once you have everything there, the date's correct. Make sure your check number is 196. So once you have everything there, I want you to hit save and new. Once you hit save and new, you should be in a blank check. So now we're doing another cash purchase. So it's from Copy Plus. So I want you to type this name in the pay the order field. So type this name in over here, and I want you to quick add this vendor. I want you to change the date. Make sure it's on the 15th of April 2006. So click on that. Type in the source document number. Put it in there. So we know from this person that we're paying for printing. So we're gonna go ahead and select printing and copying expense. Just click on that. As HST tax code, because we know here we're paying GST and PST. So we paid 500 plus HST. So once you put 500 over here, type something in the memo field, something close to this or exactly like this. And make sure the date's correct. So for your check number, you should have 197 at the top. If you don't, so you did something wrong, you got to go back. I hope you did it right. Okay, yeah, so once you have this, I want you to hit save and new. So now you should be in the next blank check. Should be at check number 198 right now. So now we're purchasing something from Where Ads. So I want you to click on Where Ads for the vendor. Make sure the date's correct. It should be the 24th now of April. For the source document number, I want you to type in WA 4232. So I put this one wrong, 4232. Let's put a correction here. Sorry, I was doing this like 1 a.m. in the morning. I was a little bit tired. Okay, so yeah. So once you type in the proper what do you call it again? Source document number. So it should be WA 4232. And we paid, okay, yeah. So I want you to pick T-shirt and caps. That's what we purchased. It's HST because we have GST and PST, which means we're using the tax code HST. So the amount should be 2,400 in our amount field. And you want to type in what we purchased. We purchased printed caps for participants, volunteers at fundraising. So once you have all this, you should have a total of 2,712. And the date should be the 24th. Your check number should be 198, sorry. So once you have this done, I want you to hit save and new. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save and new. So yeah, now you should be at you should be on check number 199, okay? A blank check. I want you to select Charity Spridius. Type in the memo field. So type in memo number 4. Okay. And then for the account, I want you to hit select wage contract expense. It's tax exempt. The amount should be 2,000. And it should be on the memo field, you want to type in monthly wage expense as per contract. Make sure your date's correct. The date for this transaction is April 30th, 2006. So make sure you select that. And you should be on check number 199. So once you have everything as I have it here, I want you to hit save and new. So now you should be on check number 200. Okay. Okay, so one second. All right, so now that you're at a blank check, okay, I want you to I want you to listen carefully, okay? So if you read the second last transaction on page 156, look at the second last transaction dated May 1st, 2006. It says we purchased from Stixy. So we know Stixy is a new vendor. We're going to have to quick add. Okay? For safety pins, whatever it is. And we purchased it. We purchased it from Petty Cash, which means on our bank, you see a bank account? From bank account, we have to click on cash on hand. Cash on hand is our Petty Cash account, okay? So let me just show you what I mean. So let's say you're on a blank check, okay? So just imagine this is the blank check that you're on. So you want to click on this and click on cash on hand. Once you click on cash on hand, you should be at the screen, something close to it. So you see where it says print later? I want you to tick mark it, because we're not paying with the check. So I want you to put a tick mark beside print later, okay? So now I'll show you. So yeah, so once you tick mark this, you should beside the check number, it should say to print. So because we're using cash, we're gonna have a check number, okay? So now we're paying it to Stixys. So I want you to type in the name of the vendor. It's called Stixys. Once you type in the name, hit tab and hit quick add. It's a vendor. Now once you type in the source document number here, so it's S18299. So make sure you have that. I had to make a correction here because originally I put this as bank checking. So I had to come back and change it to cash on hand. So make sure you have this source document number. Don't really worry about this. You don't really need that. This is just for my reference that I made a correction. And then, so we know if you read this, it says use office and computer supplies account. So we're purchasing something. We're purchasing safety pins and number tags for runner participants. So it goes under office and computer supplies. So once you click on that, it should be under other current assets. So click on this. The tax code should be HST. So click on HST. And the amount should be $40 plus HST. And you want to put this in the memo field for safety pins to pin number tags on runner participants for identification. Put that in. Your total should be $45.20. Oh yeah, and make sure you correct the date. So the date for this is May 1st, 2006. So you want to make sure you put the correct date. So once you have all that, I want you to hit save and close, okay? So hit save and close. So now you should be in the home navigator. So now we're doing the last transaction on page 156. So it says funds raised, form number 4. We know we're creating a sales receipt. So click on create a sales receipt. So let me just find mine first. So it says cash and checks received from runners. So for your customer job, I want you to click on runners. So in this one we have 52 single registrations. So click on single registration. Type in something in the description field, something close to this. Quantity, you want to hit 52 because it tells you we have 52 single registrations. The rate's $25 each. Okay, so that's good. For a total of 1,300. It's tax exempt. It should already be put. The tax code should already be entered automatically. You don't really have to touch it. And for item, the second one, you want to put team registration. Type something in for this. And then for the quantity, you want to put 22 team registrations. So 22 multiplied by 80 should give you 1,760. Okay, and then the total should be 3,060. Type in a customer message. Thank you for your business. Payment method should be cash because we don't really have check numbers here. So just select cash. This should be sale number 4. And make sure you choose the proper date. So it's May 2nd. So I want you to go and make sure that's there. Make sure it's on bank checking. It should automatically be on bank checking at this point. So once you have everything done, hit save and close. And put a check mark beside that transaction. So once you hit save and close, you should know. Yeah, once you hit save and close, you should be at the home navigator. And then, so we look at the next transaction. We're on page 157 on the very top, the top of page 157, and we're doing the first one. So hit create a sales receipt. So you should be on a blank sales receipt like this. But I'm gonna go back and refer to mine. So it says cash and checks received from donors deposited to bank checking account. So click on customer job. Click on donors. And for donors, click on and then make sure you deposit to bank checking. Select the proper date. It's May 2nd, 2006. Click on that. You should be on sale number 5 like I am. If you're not, you did something wrong. For the item, you want to click sponsorship now because it's a sponsor. So the donors are sponsoring, okay? So click on sponsorship as a service. And description, I just put sponsorship. You can put sponsorship from donors. Quantity, don't put anything for the quantity, okay? It's a donation. There is no quantity. And for the rate, you have 0 here. I want you to change it to 4,800 on the rate. So make sure you select this rate. And it says they paid. They don't really tell you how they paid. So it's just cash and check. So I want you, for the payment method, I want you to select cash, okay? So you want to do that. So yeah, your total should be 4,800. I want you to type in like the customer message, thank you for your business, whatever. So you put that in, and once you're done with this, put a check mark beside the transaction and hit save and close. So now we're on the second transaction on page 157. So it's a cash purchase. I want you to write a check. So you see when you're writing a check now, you see right now you're in the bank account. It'll say cash on hand. I want you to immediately change this to checking. So make sure you change it to checking. So once you change it to checking, so let me just show you my transaction. Sorry, one sec. So yeah, once you change it to checking, make sure that your check number is 200. If it's not 200, you gotta manually input it. So yeah, it should be it should say 200 over here. If it doesn't, then I want you to change it to 200. Okay, so 200. So I want you to click the vendor as Staples because we're buying stuff from Staples. Put the source document number. It's S14322. For the account, I want you to select printing and copying expense because we're paying Staples for photo paper and color print cartridges. So basically printing and copying expenses. The tax goes HST, so select HST. The amount's 2,500 plus HST, so why don't you put 2,000? Sorry, not 2,000. Sorry, $250. So yeah, for the amount here, I want you to select 250. For the memo, I want you to input this memo for photo paper and color print cartridges. So put that in there. And yeah, once you have everything good, make sure the date's correct. It should be May the 3rd. So once everything is good, I want you to hit save and new. Click on save and new. So your total should be 282.50. So save and new, you should be on a blank check. Now you should be on check number 201. So from Quartz Art Supply. Okay. So I want you to type in the name of this new vendor and hit quick add for new vendor. So Quartz Art Supplies. It's not going to be in your list. You have to add this. So I want you to go ahead and add this. So I want you to change the date. So now it's the 3rd of May 2006. So I want you to click this and then type in the source document number. So it's QAS 4632. And it's for office and computer supplies. It's because it tells us to use office and computer supplies in the question paper. So click on that. Click on tax code. We have GST and PST. So we have to use HST. So the amount, we want to put 190. Type in something in the memo field, something close to this. And your total should be 214.70, which we have here. Make sure your check number is correct. Make sure your date's correct. Make sure your total's correct. And I want you to hit save and new. Once you're done with that. So once you hit save and new, you should be on a blank check, okay? And then, so let me show you what I have for this transaction. Okay, so now we're on we're on the fourth transaction on page 157. So this is cash purchase invoice ZFM 3990. So make sure you're on bank checking. So just make sure you're there. So to pay to the order of, so Azera's Food Mart. So if you don't have this vendor, quick at it. If you already have it, then just select it. Change the date. Make sure the date's on the correct date. It should be May the 12th, 2006. You should be on check number 202 over here. If you're not, then you do something wrong. You gotta go back. Type in source document number. It should be ZFM 3990. I had to make a correction, so I put this one in there. So you don't really have to have this. You should at least have this. So it says we purchased food supplies. So we purchased two different kinds of food supplies. So for the first account, click on food supplies. For the tax code, click tax exempt. And for the amount, put $1,800 because we purchased $1,800 worth of food and beverages. But of the $1,800 food and beverages, all of it was tax exempt. So I want you to put tax exempt here. And for the description, you want to put for 0 rated food and beverages for participants and spectators during the event. So that's what I put in there. And then for the second account, we're also going to choose food supplies, but for this one, we know that we have tax on this food that we bought. So if we put HST, so if you read it, it says and 800 plus GST and PST for taxable snack foods. So we know that we also purchased, on top of the $1,800 worth of food that we bought, we purchased $800 worth of food, but the $800 is being taxed with HST. So click on that, make sure you have 800. Then I just typed in for taxable snack foods. I put that there. So make sure your total says 2,704. If it doesn't, I want you to hit recalculate just to make sure that all of the amounts are being added properly. So once you have everything proper, I want you to put a check mark, and I want you to hit save and new. Once you hit save and new, you should be in a blank check. So it says, so now we're at memo number 5 on page 115.7. So it says issue check number 203 for $1,500 to Charity Spridius to transfer funds from cash on hand for miscellaneous expense. So I guess this one's a little bit tricky. So if you read this, it says, so all this is saying that we're adding cash to our petty cash account. So I want you to just do, I want you to, what do you call again? So for this, I want you to make sure you're in bank checking. You should be on check number 203. For the vendor, I want you to click Charity Spridius. Should be under other name. Type in the memo number 5. So on bank account, I want you to click on this and click on cash on hand. The reason why we're picking cash on hand is because we're taking money from the bank and we're putting it in our cash on hand account. So click on cash on hand, put tax exempt, put the amount for $1,500, and type this in to transfer funds to cash on hand for miscellaneous expense during the event. So once you put that, your total should be $1,500. Make sure the date is correct. It should be May the 18th, 2006. So once everything is good, put a check mark beside that transaction and click So click save and close. Once you hit save and close, you should be in the home navigator. So now the next one we have to make a general journal entry. So click on account, make general journal entry. So right now we're doing memo number 6. So let me just find this. So you should be in a blank general journal. So I want you to put the proper date. It should be May the 18th, 2006. So I want you to select the proper date. You should be on entry number 5, just as I was. So for the account, I want you to click cost of t-shirts and caps. Okay, so give t-shirts each voucher. So I want you to select cost of goods sold, because cost of goods sold is an expense account. So cost of t-shirts and caps under cost of goods sold. Click on this. Type in 450. Then I want you to select the other account, which is other current assets, t-shirts and caps. So t-shirts and caps under other current assets. Make sure you don't select the wrong account. So just as I have it here, I want you to select t-shirts and caps, other current assets. Click on that. On the credit side, you want you to put 450. I type in the memo here, memo number 6. Yeah, so make sure you have all this. So once you have all this, everything's good. Hit save and close, and put a check mark beside that transaction. So you should be in the home navigator now. For the next one, we have to create a sales receipt. Create a sales receipt. So you should be in a blank sales receipt like this. So I'm just gonna go back and show you mine. Okay, so for this one, we know that it's cash and checks received from runners. So for the customer job, click on runners. The first one we have is singles registration. So click on single registration for the item. Type in a description like this. Type in the quantity 64. And for the second one, you want to click on team registration. Type in a description like I have over here. And for quantity, you should have 14. So 14 times 80 should give you 1,120. For all of the tax codes, we should have tax code exempt. And then we also have photos. So to click on this, click on photos. Photos sold to runners on day of event. Type that in the description field. So we have, for quantity, we have 730. So once we have all that, we should have a total of $10,020, which we have here. Make sure the date is correct. Should be the 18th. Oh wait, no. Yeah, so my date was incorrect here, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it. So the date should actually be the 20th. So yeah, make sure that you have the proper date. So it's the 20th. And payment method is cash. So once we have everything good, I want you to hit save and new. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save this. So once you hit save and new, you should be in a blank check. Blank sales receipt, sorry. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, so yeah. I want you to just go ahead and close this. Just close the sales receipt for now. We don't need it, because we're doing another general journal entry. So right now we're doing the second last. No, sorry, we're doing Oh wait, sorry, yeah, we're supposed to be in sales receipt. Actually, sorry, I read this wrong. So wait. Okay, so we just completed this one, right? With the photos and all that. We just finished this one. So once we hit save and new, we should be on this one. We should be on a blank sales receipt. So for here, it says cash and checks received from donors. So customer job, click on donors. Deposit to bank checking. Select the proper date. It should be May the 20th. On the item, I want you to click on sponsorships, okay? Click on sponsorships and type in for the description. Sponsorships from donors. Quantity, don't put any quantity. Change the rate to 8,200, okay? Once you change that, your total should be 8,200. Make sure the payment method is cash. You should be on sale number 7. If you're not, then you did something wrong. So yeah, once you have this done, hit save and close. Put a check mark beside the transaction that we just completed. So now we're on cash purchase invoice ZFM 4821. So for this one, we have to write a check. Click on write a check. Now, if you read this, it says that we paid from the cash on hand account. So change the bank account to cash on hand, okay? And make sure that the print later thing is tick marked, okay? So click on print later. If it's like this, you gotta make sure it's clicked on print later, okay? So we know it's I'm gonna go back here. So I want you once we have the proper account here, which is cash on hand, and we tick mark this so we don't have to put any check number. Make sure the date's correct. So the date should be May the 20th. So click on this, May 20th. Type in the memo number, ZFM 4821. Type in food supplies for the first account. It's tax exempt food supplies for the first one. So the amount for the first food that we purchased from Zares Food Mart is $400. Type in 400. Type in something in the memo field over here. The second food we bought from the same person is food supplies, and it's taxable food supplies. You want to click on HST. This is for $200, and then you want to type this in the memo field. So what we're saying here is that this is our vendor, and we purchase food from them. We purchase $400 worth of food with no tax, which is tax exempt. And then we also purchased $200 worth of food from this guy, but we have tax on this $200 worth of food. So you want to split it. $400 with no tax and $200 with tax. So once you have all this and you make sure the date's correct and you make sure the amount's correct, you should have $626 here. I want you to hit save and close. So once we hit save and close, you should be in the home navigator. So now we're on the second last transaction on page 157. Let's see how long we've taken so far. It's been about 47 minutes, okay. So we're the second last transaction on this page. So from event manager, give t-shirts and caps to each participant, cost of t-shirts given out. So we're making a general journal entry now. So go in company, go and make general journal entry. You should be on a blank general journal entry like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you mine. Just give me a second here. Okay, so I want you to make sure the date's correct. It should be May the 20th, 2006. It should be an entry number 6. If you're not, you did something wrong. And we have, so it says give t-shirts and caps to each participant. Cost of t-shirts given out is $880. So I want you to hit cost of t-shirts, because since we've given it out, it's been used. So I want you to hit cost of t-shirts and caps, cost of goods sold. So for debit, you want to type in this amount here, which is one. Wait, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so I want you to type in the amount here. So for this amount, I want you to type in 880 plus 835. So it's 880 plus 835. So once you add it like that, you have the total. And so we're debiting this, and we're gonna credit t-shirt and caps, other current asset. So make sure it's t-shirt and caps, other current asset. Because once we sell the t-shirts, we no longer have this as an asset. When we give out the t-shirts, we don't own the t-shirts. So our asset goes down. So this, and make sure you credit for the same amount. And for the memo, I want you to type in memo number 7 and type a description like I have here. So once you have everything good, I want you to hit save and close. Put a check mark beside the transaction. So now we're in the very last transaction on page 157. So once we're here, let's read what we have. So we have funds raised, form number 8. So we're creating a sales receipt. So let me just go ahead and show you mine. So we know for this one, it says cash and checks received from event spectators. So we have to add this. So type in spectators and then hit quick add. Quick add customer. So type in spectators and hit quick add. Make sure you deposit to bank checking. Make sure the date's correct. It's now May the 20th. Click on May 20th. You should be on sale number 8. So for the first item, I want you to hit t-shirts. Type in a description like I have here. Put quantity for 180. So 180 times the rate of at the rate of 20 should give you 3,600. Everything should be tax exempt like we have here. The second item, should be caps. So type in caps sold to spectators. Type in the quantity 186. Put the rate. The rate should already be there. That should be your total. And then for the third item we sold was snacks and beverages. So I want you to go ahead and click on snacks and beverages sold to spectators. So it says non-inventory part. So go ahead and click that. So click on it. Type in the description like I have over here. For the quantity, we don't have any quantity for snacks and beverages. It's just one big amount. So at the rate column, I want you to type in 5,280. And it's tax exempt. So yeah, you should have a total of 11,670. I want you to put a thank you message at the bottom like I have over here. So thank you for your business, blah blah blah. So once your date's correct and you have all this, you have all your totals good, I want you to hit save and close. So hit save and close. Once you hit save and close, you should be in the home navigator. Now I want you to turn to page 158. So we're at the top of page 158 right now. So it's a cash purchase invoice, which means you're writing a check. So click on write a check. From Pizza House. So give me a second here. Okay, so once you're at a blank check, I want you to click on checking. So I'll show you my checking transaction for the first one over here. Papa's Pizza House. Oh, sorry. One sec. One sec. Let me just take a read at this. Okay, sorry. So I want you to go ahead and change it back to cash on hand, because we're actually paying for my cash on hand account. So let me just show you mine. I think it's this one. So I want you to type in this name, Papa's Pizza House, and quick add for new vendor. So once you quick add that, I want you to change the date. Make sure it's on May 20th. Click on that. Type in the memo over here. The memo should be PPH 34982. I had to make a correction here earlier, so I just put that correction thing there. You should only have this typed in, the one that I highlighted here, PPH. So just have that typed in. And then on the account, I want you to click on general expense. Since you don't have this account, you have to create this account. So I want you to create this account, general expense, and make sure it's classified under expense, okay? And it says it tells us to choose the tax code as S. So choose S as the tax code. The amount should be 270. So once you type in 270 in the amount field, type in something in the memo field. And then for your total, you should have 305.10. So, yep. Make sure you have all this, and make sure you click on print later. Print later, so you don't have to put in the check number, okay? So once you have everything proper over here, I want you to hit save and close. Hit save and close. Okay. So now we're at the second transaction on page 158. I want you to create write a check. So now for the bank account, I want you to switch it back to checking. So now I'll show you my transaction. So it's May 20th. So it says, from Bell Canada, we paid for telephone service for 2 months. So make sure it's on bank checking. Make sure on check number 204. If it doesn't say 204, I want you to type it in. Okay, and then make sure you choose Bell Canada as a vendor. Make sure the date's correct. It should be the 20th of May. Type in the source document number, so it's BC30837. Type that in. Type in telephone expense as the account. Make sure the tax code you input, which it should be HST. So select HST. Type in the amount for $90 because that's how much we paid without tax. And then we have to add tax, so we type in HST. And then for the memo field, I want you to just type in telephone service for 2 months. So your total should be $101.70 over here. And you should have check number 204 over here. So once you have everything as I have it over here, I want you to save and new. So it should be in a blank check. So we're purchasing something from Staples. So I want you to type in, select Staples as the vendor. Type in the date. Make sure it's on the 30th of May, which we have over here. Make sure you're on check number 205. If you're not, you might do something wrong. So yeah, make sure you have check number 205 over here. Type in the reference number, S21110. Type that in. Account, click on printing and copying expense. Your tax code, click on HST. For the amount, I want you to click on 140. For the memo, I want you to type in this. For printing receipt forms for participants as sponsors. So once you have everything as I have it over here, I want you to click save and new. So now we're on memo number 8. So you should be on check number 206. So make sure you're on check number 206. It should have been automatically be inputted as 206. If it's not automatically being put in as 206 and it's a different number, you did something wrong. You gotta go back and check. So yeah, and then I want you to click on Charity Spridius. So click on that. Make sure the date's correct. It's May the 31st. Type in memo number 8 over here. Make sure you select wage contract expense. And then for the tax code, I want you to click on exempt. Type in the amount of 2,000 and type in on the memo field for monthly wages as per contract. Your total should be 2,000. So once you have everything as I have it over here, I want you to save and close. So once you hit save and close, you should be in the home navigator. So now we're on June the 2nd, 2006. So funds raised, form number 9. I want you to hit create a sales receipt. So once you click on create sales receipt, so we know if we read it, it says cash and checks received from sponsors. Let's go back. Yeah, so I think this is a mistake. So, cause how can a sponsor? I think the sponsors are actually donors. So you have two options there. You can either select donors and then click item sponsors, or you can add sponsors over here. But it didn't tell us to add sponsors, so I just went ahead and just assumed that it's coming from the donors, cause so far it's only the donors that have been sponsoring. So I just for the customer job, I just clicked on donors. Make sure it goes to bank checking. Select that. Make sure the date's proper. So the date's June the 2nd, 2006. So click on that. You should be on sale number 9. If you're not, you did something wrong. For the payment method, click on cash. For the item, click on sponsorships, which is here. And then I just typed in sponsorships from donors. And quantity, don't put anything for quantity. Don't put 0. For the rate, I want you to type in 45,460. It's tax exempt. So your total should be 45,460, like I have over here. And type in thank you over here at the very bottom left. So click on this. So once you have everything as I have it, I want you to hit save and new. So this one's a similar one to the previous transaction. So you should be on sale number 10. So click on donors at the top. Click on bank checking. Make sure the date's proper. The date should be June 9. Payment method, click on cash. Click on item as sponsorship. And type in the description like I have it over here. For quantity, don't just leave it blank for quantity and type in the rate at 9,560. And it's tax exempt. Your total should be 9,560 like I have it over here. So put a check mark over here once you have that. So I want you to hit save and close. Once you hit save and close, you should be in the home window like I am over here. So right now we're in memo number 9. So we're writing a check, so write a check over here. So let me just show you what we're doing. So it says from event manager, issue check number 207 for $500 to Charity Spirius to transfer funds to cash on hand. So what we're doing is we're taking the money from our bank and putting it in our cash on hand account. So to do that, we have to go through this account called Charity Spirius. So select this, make sure the date's correct. The date should be the 13th of June. So click on that. You should be on check number 7. If you're not, you did something wrong. And then make sure you type in memo number 9 over here, like I have over here. And for the account, click on under bank. You'll see an account called cash on hand. You select that. Tax code, leave it blank or put E for tax exempt. For the amount, you put 500, and then put on the memo to transfer funds to cash on hand. So your total should be $500 over here. So once you have that, put a check mark. And then cash purchase invoice CP2. Yep, okay, so once you have that done, click on save and new. And let me just show you what we did. So once you would save and new, you should be in a blank check like this. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to select the bank, change the bank account to cash on hand. So if you read the next transaction, which is cash purchase invoice CP2, you can see that we purchased something from Canada Post. So Canada Post we have to add as a new vendor. So let me show you. So make sure you type in Canada Post quick add as a new vendor. Make sure you check mark this. Make sure there's a check mark over here. Print it later, so you don't have to type in the check number. And then for the date, I want you to put in the date as June 15th. I'm so sleepy. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so you should be on June 15th. And for the memo, I want you to put the memo as CP2 as a reference number. I want you to add this account. So type postage, hit tab, and it should be under the expense account, okay? So add postage as an expense account. Select tax code G. The amount we paid to Canada Post was 500 plus GST. So put 500 here, put GST over here. Type in something in the memo field, something close to this for postage to mail receipt. Your total should be 525. And you should have no check number over here. And make sure the date's on June the 15th. So once you're done that, hit save and close, okay? Once you hit save and close, you should be in the home window. So the next transaction says from Event Manager, display the trial balance. So go in reports, company and financial, no, sorry. Go in reports, and then go to account and taxes, click on trial balance. So change the date on the trial balance to 2006. Put January 1st, 2006. And then, okay, now, you gotta change the date. Put it from 2006, January the 1st to 2006, June 15, okay? So now we look at our trial balance, right? So it says apply for GST rebate of $401.80. It's 50% of the non-refundable GST expense account balance. So it says apply for GST rebate. Okay, so we're applying for a GST rebate of $401.80. And then they give you something. It tells you 50% of non-refundable GST expense account. So I don't really see a GST rebate account. So what I did was this. So you see versus GST and HST payable, the 755.95. So give me a second here. Yeah, so for this one, oh, this one was kind of weird. So from Event Manager, GST rebate and adjusting entries. Apply for GST rebate of $401.80. Yeah, so for this one, let me just show you what I mean. So I think for this, give me a second, actually, one sec. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so for you should have this amount, I think. So you see how I have the amount 755.95 on your trial balance. You should, for the GST HST rebate account. I mean okay, let me just show you what I mean. Just give me a second, guys. Because I already did the transaction on the 15th, right? So it's gonna affect my thingamajig. Okay, so let me just close this. So I'm gonna go. Okay, once I go, we'll come back to this. General journal entry. Hold up, I'm gonna delete my general journal entry real quick so I can just show you guys what you should have. Account, make general journal entry. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that entry that I did. So I'm just gonna delete this. Wait, instead of deleting it, I'm just gonna put it as 0. Put it as 0. I don't have to type it in again. That's probably smarter. Just gonna save. I can leave this one the same. Okay. Just give me a second. Don't do what I'm doing right now. Just wait. I'll show you. Ports. Okay, yeah. So for this one, you should have 1,166.80. So what I did was I took this amount, the GST HST payable portion, because because we have a debit, which means that we can actually get this money back. So maybe we can get 50% back, you know. So we should have 483.40. So I think this is the amount that we're supposed to get as a rebate. So that's what I did actually. So I put in $583.40. So close this. So hopefully you have the same trial balance, and then for your GST HST payable, you should have a debit value of 1,166.80. We know that because it's a debit, it's actually not a payable, it's a receivable. So I think we're supposed to claim 50% of this receivable. So don't save. Calculator. Actually, give me a second. I gotta check that thing again. Cause I forgot what number that was over there. Give me a second. So I gotta go to my trial balance again. 15th. We should have. Okay, so why does my calculator keep disappearing? So it's 1,166.80 divided by 2. So 583.40. So this is what we're going to be doing, okay? So click on X, click on no. Okay, so I want you to make a general journal entry. So click on company, make general journal entry. So so we're gonna make an account called GST HST receivable. So yeah, I made it a GST HST receivable account. One second, actually, give me a sec. It has to be an asset, right? Yeah, so I just made this account. GST HST receivable. I'll put it under other current assets. And for the amount here, we're going to put in 583.40, which we calculated earlier. So once you type in GST HST receivable, type in debit 583.40. Put in the memo field memo number 10, applied for GST/HST rebate. And then for the second account, put GST HST payable. You want to credit that. Since we're crediting a debit value, it's going to decrease our payable, not really a payable, but it'll reduce our asset and increase our receivable asset. So yeah, just trust me, just do this. It's kind of confusing because the way they put it here. And you should be crediting this for $583.40. Type in the memo thing. Make sure the date's correct. It should be June the 15th. And yep, once you do everything, I want you to hit save and close. So now put a check mark beside that transaction. So now we're on the second last transaction on page 158. Okay, so it says from TD Canada Trust, blah blah blah. Okay, so make a general journal entry. So you should be on should change the date, make sure it's on the 15th. Should be an entry number 7. So here, select bank loan, other current liability. Type in 11,000. Type in the memo number and all that. So type this in there, and then you have to create an interest expense account. So type in interest expense and hit tab and create it as a expense. So make sure you categorize it as an expense. Type in 330 debit, and then credit bank checking for 11,330. At the very bottom, you see totals. It should balance 11,330, 11,330. Make sure the date's correct. This should be entry number 7. If you don't have entry number 7, you did something wrong, I think. So put a check mark here. And once you did that, I want you to hit save and close. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close. And then now you should be on the home navigator. So we're now on the very last transaction on page 158. From Bell Canada, $50. So create a check. So change the bank account to checking. So change the date. Change the date to June the 20th. Make sure you're on check number 208. If you're not, then you did something wrong, or just input 208 over here. And make sure you select Bell Canada as a vendor. Type in the reference number BC36464. Make sure you select telephone expense as the account. It has HST tax. So click on HST. The amount's $50. So put 50 over here. Put something in the memo field over here, like I have over here. Your total should be $56.50. $56.50. Sorry. Make sure you have check number 208. Make sure the date's correct. Once everything's good, I want you to hit save and close. Hit save and close, or you can hit save and new. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, just hit save and new. Actually, it's probably easier. Hit save and new. And now I want you to turn to page 159. So guys, we're on the last page, and so far it's been about an hour and 18 minutes. So I guess we're doing really good on time. So this will probably end up being almost a 2-hour video, if not less. Okay, so now that you're over here, make sure you're in bank checking. Select bank checking. Make sure you're on check number 209. Make sure you select the date. It's now June the 30th. So pay to the order of select Charity Spiritus. And make sure you put memo number 11. So we're paying wage contract expense. So once you click wage contract expense as the account under expense, put tax exempt or leave this one blank. It's up to you. For the amount, put $2,000 and then type in the memo paid monthly wages expense as per contract. Your total should be $2,000. So once you have everything as I have it over here, I want you to hit save and close. So hit save and close. So now you should be in the home navigator like I am. And now we're doing the bank debt. We're doing the second transaction on page 159. So we got to make a general journal entry for this one. Make general journal entry. So I want you to change the date. So make sure you're on the 30th of June. And create a new expense account called bank charges. So under account, type in bank charges and create it as an expense account. So once you create this account, you debit this account by $42.50. Type the memo as I have it over here. Type in the description in brackets, and then since we're paying bank charges, we know that it's coming out of our bank checking. So do that. So once you have all this, then you hit save and close, but make sure the date's correct. And you should be in entry number 8. If you're not, you did something wrong probably. So yep. Once you hit save and close, it should be in the home navigator. So we're doing now memo number 12. So from event manager, transfer $958.50. Balance of cash on hand to bank checking account. So we're transferring stuff. So maybe we'll do a general journal entry for this. Yep, we are. So this should be entry number 9. So it says transfer $958 to the checking account. So we know that since we're putting money from the cash on hand account, we're moving the money and we're putting it into our checking account. So we're debiting our checking account for $958.50. Type in the memo over here. And we're going to reduce our cash on hand account. So we're going to credit our cash on hand account by the same amount. So we should have the same totals at the bottom over here. Make sure the date's correct. It's June the 30th. So once you have everything like I have over here, I want you to hit save and close. So hit save and close and put a check mark beside the transaction. So now you should be on memo number 13. So go to account, make general journal entry. So this is from event manager. Small quantities of supplies were left at the end of the tournament. Leftover food supplies. So it says leftover food supplies and t-shirts have been donated. So when I see the word leftover, it means any and all remaining food supplies were donated. And also any and all remaining t-shirts have been donated to women's shelter and stuff like that. And it says craft and some office supplies have been donated to the university's day care center. Reduce the following assets and increase the corresponding expense accounts to reflect the supplies used during the tournament. So let me show you what I mean for this. Let me just close this real quick. So I'm going to go to my reports and I'm going to my child. I'll just go to my balance sheet, okay? So I'm going to go to my balance sheet as of the 29th, okay? Burps. One sec, guys. Yeah, so if you go to the day before, right? So let me just show you my balance sheet. So let's imagine we're the company, okay? On June 30th, which is the last day of the month, we're going to be making our donations, okay? We're going to donate all of our food. We're going to donate all of our clothes and whatever, right? So to know how much clothes and foods we have, we have to see the supplies that we have the day before. So on the 29th. So on the 29th, you can see here we have food supplies of 3,200. Okay. No, sorry. We have t-shirts and caps of 2,735. So I want you to write this down on your page. So t-shirts and caps 2,735. That's the first thing. Another thing is our food supplies. We only have $3,200 worth of food supplies. To put that in over there. And the third thing is reduce office and computer supplies and increase office and computer supplies used by 503. So office and computer supplies. So in our page it says reduce it by 503, but it's impossible. We only have $440 worth of office and computer supplies, which means we can only reduce it by 440. So I think this was the hidden mistake that the teacher told us about in class, where like how can we give away something we don't have? We can only give away whatever we have. So if we only have $440 worth of computer supplies, we can only give away that much. If we only have $2,735 worth of t-shirts, we can only give away that much. So the reason why I took you to the balance sheet is because I want to show you this. So make sure you select the proper date, June 2006 to 29, so you can see your balances and make sure that they correlate with what I have over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close this. Click no. So I'm gonna make my general journal entry now. So, okay, sorry, one sec. So I'm gonna debit my cost of t-shirts and caps, cost of goods sold, by 2,735. I put the memo there. I'm gonna debit my cost of food and drinks, cost of goods sold, for 2,000. Sorry, I put this wrong. 2,735. Okay. Oh crap, sorry. Oh crap, I did this wrong. Sorry. Wait. Cost of food and drinks. Sorry, let me take a look at my balance sheet again. So that's what I told you guys to write it down, because I forgot to write it down, so I gotta take a look. So 2,735, that's t-shirts. 3,200 is food. So I wrote this down now. So we know for cost of t-shirts, so 2,735. So debit cost of t-shirts and caps, cost of goods sold, for 2,735. Cost of food and drinks should be 3,200. Okay. Office and computer supplies used should be 440. This is an expense. So now that we did these three, we want to reduce our assets. So reduce t-shirts and caps, other current assets, reduce it by 2,735. And food supplies, our asset, the other current asset under food supplies. So this should be 3,200. Okay, and then we have office and computer supplies, other current asset, reduced by 440. So you should have all these memos in there the way I have it. So once we have all of this, you see your totals, they should be balancing. 6,375, 6,375. So once you hit save and close, put a check mark beside that transaction. So now we're on memo number 14. Just give me a sec. So now we're on memo number 14. So from Event Manager, enter adjustments for prepaid expenses. So click on company, click on make journal entry. So you should be in entry number 11 now. Once you change the date, make sure it's on the 30th. So the first thing we're doing is we're doing office rent. So we're gonna expense our prepaid accounts. So the first account we're gonna be expensing. We're making our adjusting entries. We're gonna debit office rent expense. So click on that. Type in 1,800. Type in the memo. The next account we're gonna be debiting is publicity and promotion expense. Click on this. Debit it for 1,500, and we're gonna reduce the value of our assets. So we know that since we used up our prepaid rent, we're gonna expense it. So click on prepaid rent, and make sure you credit it. Credit it 1,800. Type in the memo over here. And then we're gonna credit our asset, prepaid advertising, other current asset, 1,500. Your total is 3,300. 3,300 for debits and credits. Make sure they balance. Once you're done with that, make sure you hit save and close. Hit save and close. Put a check mark besides memo number 14. So now we're on the second last transaction on page 159. So from event manager, enter 800 as a depreciation on computer equipment. So another general journal entry. So click on this. So make sure the date's correct. It's on the 30th. You should be at entry number 12 now. So you want to debit depreciation expense and credit depreciation underneath computers and digital equipment. It's the daughter account of computers and equipment. So you want to click on this. So you want to debit 800 for depreciation expense. And you want to credit depreciation under computers digital equipment for 800. And type in the memo over there. And it should be bouncing 800, 800. Should be bouncing over there. Once you have this, hit save and close. Put a check mark besides memo number 15. So guys, we're finally at the last transaction. Oh gosh, okay. So receive check number. So we're receiving a check. So click on make general journal entry. Give me a sec, guys. 1 sec. So I want you to change the date to June the 30th. So for bank checking, since we're receiving money from the government, we're gonna debit our bank checking. So debit bank checking, and it should be for $583.40. So and then we're gonna credit our GST HST receivable account. So remember how we set up that GST HST receivable earlier? We said that we're applying for a rebate. So when we applied for a rebate, we made it a receivable. So we're gonna credit our receivable and cancel it out. So make sure this is the correct amount. Type in the memo number here. And this should be entry number 14. So once you have that done, I want you to save and close. Click yes. I mean, I had to click yes. You don't have to click yes because I made a correction there. So yeah, guys, now we're done everything. We're going to take a look at our balance sheet. So click on reports. I already memorized my reports. You guys should already know how to make your balance sheet and all that. So I'm going to check out my balance sheet. So this is my balance sheet account. So let me just take a picture here so I can show you guys on the WhatsApp group. Give me a second, guys. Okay, guys. Okie dokie. Okay, so yeah, to make this, you gotta make sure the date's correct. Make sure you select June 30th, okay? And you know how to make it all, you know how to turn it all red and all that. So I'm not gonna go through that because I already explained it like every single week. So you guys should already know how to do all that. So you should have, hopefully you have this. Hopefully this is correct. I don't know if it's correct, but yeah. That's my balance sheet. Now I'm gonna show you my income statement. So my income statement is from January until June. Okay, so it's for whatever. It's from when we opened the business until today, which is June 30th. So I'm gonna take a picture of this also. Just give me a second. Okay, so I did that. So I showed you guys this. Trial balance. So yeah, for my trial balance, make sure you select the date from January 1 until June 30th. And I'll take a picture of this and post it in the group. Just give me a sec. This is my trial balance. Okay, yeah, so make sure you select the proper dates, okay? And yeah, everything should be good. So yeah, guys, that was my solution to this. So make sure you back up the company file. You guys already know how to do that. I'm gonna back up too, actually. So yeah, I'm backing up now. So yeah, guys, this video was how long? Let's see, an hour and 36 minutes. So yeah, let me know if there's any mistakes. This was kind of tough, you know, because it was kind of tough because all the different rates and yeah. So I want you guys to, for the first video I posted, only watch the first hour. Don't watch the rest of it because there's a lot of mistakes. So this one I corrected. I think I corrected all the mistakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and post this video now. It should be up in about 20 minutes. Yep. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. I want you guys to have a good day, and I'll see you guys in class.